Hey everyone, thanks for joining me today for Win the Seller. This is an Ignite course. You can find it in the Ignite series. And today we're going to talk about how using the pre-listing package and the listing presentation as the one-two punch that's going to help provide all the information to your sellers they need to know about the selling process, how your services are going to benefit them as well. The two complement each other and set you up for a win-win listing presentation that should lead you to signed agreements and helping you get their property sold. So first off, let's get our head in the game. All right, you got to mentally prepare for this and realize that working with sellers, unlike working with the buyer, and we've got to be ready for it. So keep in mind, Ignite, the full course, is going to teach you the activities that are proven to generate results. And by focusing on these activities, your success will grow and expand. So first off, we're going to jump through the pre-listing package and what that looks like. Now, hopefully you are focusing on listings. Listings do provide you with more exposure. Advertising your listing also gets your name out there. Listings are going to bring you buyers. Even if the buyers don't choose to offer on this property, they may be interested in other properties that you have or just working with you as their buyer agent. And listings are time leverage. So on average, you can close 2 to 3 listings for every buyer. And we are seeing some top performers operate up to 5 to 6 listings per buyer. And it just allows them to be really efficient with working with their sellers. So working with the seller. So you've worked hard, you've done your lead generating, you've got the listing appointment. Now we want to make sure that we win it. So you've got 2 tools in your arsenal. First one, obviously, pre-qualifying the seller to understand their motivation. The second one is going to be that pre-listing packet. So you want to position yourself as an expert. You want to allow you to price the home, sell for the most amount of money in the shortest amount of time, and you properly want to set the expectations, allowing you to create a great customer experience. Now, when calling the listing appointment, you'll want to confirm important details, including why is it they truly want to sell? What's the motivation? Pre-qualifying the seller will also help you prepare for the listing appointment and give you mindset into the world of the seller. It's also going to help you to stop wasting time on those that aren't ready to sell their property. The pre-qualifying process is a conversation with the goal to get to know the seller better, and we've got tons of scripts that'll help you with that. Now, first off, when you're going into the pre-qualifying portion, you want to use a script for that and have it readily available. And you're going to ask some powerful questions. Where are you moving? What's the motivation for you to move there? How soon do you need to be there? And if we sell your home in the next 30 days, is that going to pose a problem for you? And if yes, what would that problem be? Just by asking some simple questions, you're going to get the seller also in the mindset that you're here to sell their home. So it's very imperative that you make sure that you pre-qualify all your appointments before you're going on it. And then you want to also let them know that you're going to be sending them a packet of information and ask them to review it before you get there. Now, in the pre-listing package, so an effective pre-listing package is going to position you as the real estate expert of choice, the best person to get their home sold for the right price in the least amount of time with the most amount of money and with the least hassle. And the pre-listing materials are designed to build the seller's confidence in you and answer the question and objections in advance of you showing up for your listing appointment and listing presentation. The other thing that it's going to do is it's going to save you time. A strong pre-listing package will make the consultation experience smoother and probably shorter than it otherwise needs to be. I'm sure there's someone here today that's been on a 2-hour plus listing appointment because you didn't take time to put a pre-listing package together. The other thing that it's going to do is I can pretty well guarantee you that most agents in your market, in fact, almost every agent has stopped using a pre-listing package. So you're also going to set yourself apart from everyone else in the marketplace, and your sellers will really appreciate that you took the time to get them information before the appointment. It's going to make you look like an expert. It's also going to ensure that you've got buy-in from them coming into the appointment. Now, when you get into the pre-list, you should always have some sort of a thank you as well. So the first thing that they're going to see is this great thank you letter, thank you card for the opportunity to be in their home or the opportunity to have the appointment with them. That's going to show gratitude. It's also going to let the seller know that you are honored to be here. The second thing that you're going to let them know is that it's all about them, all about the seller. So it's going to tell them that you're here not for your own agenda or for your stats, but you're here to actually get their home sell. You can include a lot of different materials in your pre-listing package, and if you go to KW Connect, all these resources are going to be there for you. But you can include, 5 factors that'll help affect the value of your property. Again, you're going to get your sellers in the mindset that you're here to list their home. You're going to give them information. You're going to talk about pricing, what that looks like, which is going to consistently add value into your seller's world. You're also going to talk about staging and several other tips that you could give for them. One of the things that we find that's a great thing to include would be a bit of a seller survey. Questions for the seller to answer, again, prompting them to get their mindset in around selling. On that survey, you might have things like, what's the most important thing that you're looking for in a listing agent? What prior real estate transaction experience have you had? How would you like to be communicated with? Not everyone's going to want to be on the phone with you. They might appreciate an email even better. How frequently would you like to be updated on our marketing efforts? And how frequently would you like to be updated on showings? This is going to, again, position you as someone who cares about the seller's needs and want to hear about them. The next thing that you're going to do is you're going to include some information that's going to tell them about yourself. How long you've been in the business, if that's important to you, and various other things about your stats, how your team works, how you work as an individual, maybe some Google reviews. What are the things that are going to say, come and work with me? What's my unique selling proposition and my unique value proposition? Pre-listing package is a great place to put that because, again, it's going to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you before you get there, which is important. It's going to save time for your appointments as well as give the seller confidence in you that you've prepped and have knowledge and you are an industry expert. So now they've had a chance to go through the pre-listing, and now we're going to get to the listing appointment. And so you've confirmed it, you've done the pre-qualify, you've sent off the listing package, and then we're going to get into the listing appointment. Now, the first thing you're going to do, if you've taken bold, Diana reminds us, you're going to let them know, hey, we had an appointment at 7 o'clock today, and it's 7 o'clock. What you're doing there is you're letting them know that you value their time and you're someone of integrity because you said you'd be there at 7 and you were there at 7. Not 7:05, not 6:55. At 7. You're going to greet them, firm handshake, and thank them again for the opportunity to be in their home. The next thing you want to do is you want to take a look through the home through the eyes of a buyer. Now, the seller is going to give you some pushback on this, and it's imperative that you stick to this one because it's going to allow you the opportunity to walk through the home without the seller. Now, when the seller's not there, you can make notes about things that you're seeing that may cause you challenges or document things that are going to be great for the next buyer. Yet when the seller is with you, you have no choice other than to ooh and ah and make sure that you don't offend them in their home. So being able to walk through the home without them will allow you some of that flexibility to document the home. Then we're going to sit them down and we're going to go through that listing presentation. And this is really where you're going to get buy-in. You're going to create a great impression to build a seller's confidence in you again, let you know that you're their real estate sales representative of choice to get their home sold. You're then going to also share your pricing recommendations with them. So the initial list price for the property, one that's designed to get their home sold in the shortest amount of time, and again, for the most amount of money. You're also going to set expectations. How you're going to market the home with the sellers. What are the things that you're going to do? Now, when it's time, you could also leave a copy of your presentation. There's several debates on that. And again, not for me to decide. You're going to decide what it is you want to leave behind with your sellers, but you could leave them some information behind. Now, if you don't have a listing presentation, Keller Williams does provide the Guide to Selling Your Home, which is a pretty intensive listing presentation. It's going to talk about everything. And again, it starts with thanking them and letting them know what your goals are for today. Mr. and Mrs. Seller, I have 3 goals for today. The first one is to find out if you want to pick me as your agent to sell your home if I want to take your listing? And thirdly, are you going to set it at a price that's going to allow me to sell it? Again, we're going to set that expectation for them to ensure that we're in control of the conversation. We're going to ask a lot of questions through this process. Listen more than you talk and affirm them with responses like, that's wonderful, great, I agree. Do not assume that your sellers already know something. They understand what you've told them, and make sure that we always ask for clarification as we go through this process. You also want to then circle back around again on some of those motivations. Why are they moving? Do they need to sell within a certain time frame? Is there a price that they have in mind? And are they staying in the area after the home sells? Then you want to let them know that I'd like to give you a great experience selling your home. And that begins with being very clear on what the expectations are. So I'd like to ask you a question about that. Knowing that you expect a certain thing from me, how do I generate or how do I deliver on a 10 plus experience to help serve you in the best possible way? And they're going to answer, and you're going to be able to know what the expectation is for moving forward with them. You might then want to follow it up. What's important to you about that? Right? And if we could add just one more thing, what's the most important thing to make this a 10 plus experience? And again, what's important to you about that? And if there's anything else you wanted to add to make this a 10 plus experience, and then ask them again, well, what is important to you about that? So then you want to talk to them about KW, letting them know why you've chosen to work with the number one company in the world and what are the benefits that they're going to experience by working with you. Now, then you're going to talk to them about going in depth on your professionalism, your expertise. You're going to make sure that you want to highlight that. And then you want to make sure that you speak to them about the communication. 9 out of 10 problems with a listing start and end with better communication. Now, if we're not prepared to communicate at a really high level, you may not want to say this. However, it will hinder you at taking an abundance of listings, and sellers do want to be communicated with at a high level. So either ensure that you know how to do that with them, or you're going to put a plan together that allows you to communicate with them at a very high level. You're then going to talk to them about how the home selling process works, start to finish. Right? You might have a 14-step marketing plan, and you might want to go through that with them and set the expectations. Then you're going to receive offers, and then how are we going to get their property to closing? It's also important that your seller understands you're with them every step of the way. And you're going to want to set any cost that the seller might incur, such as changing over utilities. There is a deposit. Most people forget to let the sellers know that there is going to be a deposit that's held with your brokerage through this process. You might want to also let them know there might be a fee depending on the mortgage they choose to go with. Now, 3 things sell homes, and we want to make sure that we're expressing that with them: the condition of the home, the marketing of the home, and the price of the home. And the marketing really is the only one that agents can control. The condition is going to be controlled by the seller. We just want to make sure that we're very clear with them that, 3 real things sell the home, not what the neighbors say, not what the friend of theirs say, not what that colleague who once sold in 1982 says. And then we want to make sure that they understand that it's the price and the condition of the home that are going to help your marketing efforts getting the home sold. Now, once we go through all this, we really want to ensure that we've circled back on the seller to make sure that they fully understand everything that we're going through. We don't want to take this lightly, and we don't want to make assumptions that they know everything. Again, communication solves everything. So you want to ensure that you are practicing your listing presentation almost daily until you know it verbatim. Now, even with a perfectly prepared and scripted listing presentation and all the confidence in the world, you're going to come up with some objections. We're not sure yet. Your commission seems too high. You know what? We'd really like to sleep on it. We're going to be interviewing other sales representatives before we make a decision. So, how long have you been in the business? These are just some of the common objections that we get on multiple listing appointments. Now, remember, objections are simply comments or questions from the seller that may seem to slow down the progress towards an agreement, and they don't have to be if you are prepared. Objections are evidence of concern and uncertainty, and your job is to address them and ally these concerns with your knowledge and expertise. Top sales representatives across the nation are prepared to answer objectives even before we get there. There are great scripts to address every single one. Should you need one, you can always email us, or you can go and check out KW Connect for all the other scripts. Now, what does an action plan look like for moving forward with this? The first thing I would do in an action plan is practice my listing presentation with a partner. I'd also then practice listing presentation objections. I'd have someone on the other side of the table present some challenges so I can practice getting through them and overcoming them. Then you want to make sure that you're going to script constantly and ensure that you're knowing how to answer. Now, this has been the Win with Sellers Lite version. It is an Ignite class. And I just want to thank you all for joining us today. Good luck out there. And remember, with preparation, you can achieve greatness. Thank you for joining me today.